Welcome back, everyone. If you are listening to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and if you've got a thing for really good-looking brown men with silver hair, you might want to switch to the YouTube channel because there's two of us on the show today. Wow, sorry, yeah. Dr. Riaad Moosa.
How's it, guys?
Welcome. I mean, when was the last time you touched a patient, Doc? Do people still call you Dr. Riaad Moosa?
They do, and it's not correct. I whenever I introduce myself on stage, I say Dr. Riaad Moosa in quotes.
Yeah.
Right? This is what I do, and then I make fun of myself not being a doctor, but still utilizing the title.
Yeah.
For marketing purposes. Essentially, that's all I've done with my degree.
So basically, you're a dentist now. you know, I think 10 years ago, Yak and I were at a Colgate event, like 10 years ago, I think 2015. And you were the MC that night, right? And you had a dig at the dentist. Eh? You said something like...
I remember that joke. I think you walked up and at that particular moment they were serving food.
Yeah.
And then you said, please don't anyone choke on the food because you're the only real doctor in the room. I found that funny.
I mean, so when last have you actually touched a patient? Like,
when last did I do medicine properly?
Yeah.
I would say 2003.
Okay, that's what, 12 years ago.
No, 22
years ago.
22
Jeez, yeah, you
years
see,
ago.
that's why I did
22 years ago.
If you're on a flight and somebody says there's a doctor...
what happens is like, I still was, maintaining all my the CPD points for a number of years, right? And I was still going because I didn't think I'm not going to go back.
Okay. Yeah. You must have a backup plan.
No, it wasn't. No, never. Like, it's more like my journey to doing comedy was just more like, it was never a planned thing. Or I never thought, okay, I'm going to try this now.
Mm.
I'm going to hand in my stethoscope. I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go follow my dream. No, it wasn't like that. It was more like, I like doing this thing. Let me just do it a little bit and then I'll probably come back and specialize.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a doctor.
And
always, from as far as I can remember.
Why? Tell us about growing up.
Both my parents are doctors. My father's orthopedic surgeon. He did his super specialty in hand surgery. My mother is a general practitioner.
They're still practicing?
My father, they're all in their 70s at the moment, so they don't really practice, but my father's involved in the hospital business. So he's still very, very active, but not specifically in his own practice. We just grew up around that, and I always remember, there was this big surgery when I was young where some lady's hand got chopped off with a panga, right? And my father was one of the team that actually reattached the hand,
Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
I'm from Cape Town,
right?
And grew up in Grassy Park and Heathfield, southern suburbs of Cape Town, and always wanted to do medicine. Quiet, studious guy who just happened to like...
Quiet? So were you an introvert or not?
I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert now.
And not one-class clown and things like that?
In a sense, no. What I would do is I would essentially come alive at the orals and the mondelinge.
Yeah.
So quiet dude. Like most of the time.
Yeah.
And then I do a mondeling and it's like showtime.
But that's not an introvert.
Showtime.
Are you sure you're an introvert? Do you know what
an
introvert
is, from my understanding, is you gain energy from the quiet.
Yeah.
Predominant.
You don't want to go and give mondelings.
No, so it's not like you don't want to, it's just you get tired in these social settings.
Okay.
Right? So I'm more of the comedian where I watch. That's my style. So I'm not the comedian where I'm like the center of attention, generally picking on everybody. I'm the comedian checking things. That's funny. That's weird. That's stupid.
It's observational humor. We call it that.
It's the nature. It's the nature. And interestingly enough, my disposition is also slightly melancholic. So I think there are comedians who do that, who have that sort of nature. And it's more like the comedy is a way to look at the playful side of life, right? And it's almost a therapy for the nature.
That's very interesting that we went down this road. I didn't think that we would go into the psyche of comedy, but my therapist always tells me that it's an evasive mechanism, coping mechanism to try and make other people laugh, to detract away from what you're feeling.
So comedy is like, it's more just like I would say an endorphin, and it's a temporary relief for pain.
Do you get a kick out of it, making other people laugh? Do you feel good about yourself?
A laugh is very special for me. I think my happiest time, or the process of happiness for me, is writing a joke, right? Creating a joke and trying out for the first time.
To see if it lands.
The first time.
Yeah.
The first time is a special time, because you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And when you get that laugh, it's like supremely rewarding. Second time, not as good. Right? And a lot of times, the second time you do something, the joke, it doesn't work as well. And why is that? Because a lot of times you deliver it like the first show, as opposed to being in the moment. And a lot of comedy is in the moment, and stand-up comedy is sort of creating a lot of times the illusion of being in the moment, right? And to a certain extent, it's not an illusion, even if you're coming with the same material, because to actually connect with that audience, you have to make these subtle body language adjustments and timing adjustments for it to work extremely well.
Yeah. Where do you test drive your jokes?
So jokes, it's like a most times it would be a comedy club.
Okay.
That's how I used to start doing it. At a comedy club, you try things out and you build something. But these days I'm trying to try things out as I tour, because it's very difficult for me now to leave home, because I travel a lot. And now, like a few years ago, I did the show Life Begins. It was when I was turning 40. And then what I would do is, it was all the thick of things when like kids were very young. So I'd put them to bed, read stories, fall asleep halfway through the story, and wake up, I'm going to test out material. Then I'd drive through to OBS, to the armchair theater, go up and then just say, I just want to try out some jokes. Usually they give me a chance.
So they would be your sample group.
And then I would try things out,
Not the wild for
No.
siblings.
Just do 10 minutes. No, you see, comedy is, you can't rely on one person. That's very important. So a lot of people afterwards, when they come and they tell me I didn't like that or I didn't like that, I used to take it personally. But the audience is an organism. So that's my sample. That is my evidence. The laugh, I hear the laugh. So I know what the organism feels.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to look at that one bra, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to help. The one bra is there. Your eyes, humans will focus on that which is that thing that is a threat or is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? We will do that. Dentists, right? People go, you're not going, I have 30 other beautiful teeth, 31 other
the rest
beautiful
of their face
teeth.
for that.
Then you'll go, and one tooth, right? So you're not looking at all that is good, right? So it's just like a psychological focus to look at the whole thing.
Did you grow up rich? I mean, 2 doctor parents, specialists?
Comparatively, I would say.
So
privilege.
In like the affluent area in
No,
Cape?
we were in the sort of the colored area,
right?
Still.
What do you identify as? Are you Indian colored?
So Cape Muslim, I would say.
Cape, is that what you say? Okay.
Cape Muslim. So
is that Cape Malay?
Cape Malay, you see, we were the group also where my father is born in India, right? My father, and he came over when he was 2, right?
Right.
They had this story about how, it's one of those things where he came over with a relative and they had to take him away from his mom at that point who was feeding him. And then he went with his whole entire different family, came all across the world, to start a new life here.
Landed where? Where did he land?
Right, in Cape Town.
Okay.
Right, and to stay with relatives, right? And he sort of moved between families and so on and so forth. His other brothers and sisters grew up in India. They grew up there and then they moved to America. Everybody moved to America. So I have people that look like me and my family, but they're properly different, like proper American. My name is Asif, that's Anissa, that's Asma.
Yeah.
That's my cousins. And then I've got my dad's brothers and sisters who've got that sort of mixed American accent, but from, we've been staying so long in America, in US, it sounds more like an insult, right? US, all right? And nobody knows that we're from, we didn't grow up here, we got a completely, authentic American accent, like those guys, right? That's my dad's brothers and sisters. And my dad is like proper Cape Townian, right. Salam alaikum.
Yeah.
Like that's it's a mind-boggling experience when you see them together, because nature-wise they're actually very similar, right? But like in other ways they like vastly different.
So he was always practicing from the time you know him growing up. It wasn't like he came here and had to do other stuff and
no.
He was straight into practice.
Straight into practice. I just know, just working extremely hard, my mother as well. But we grew up in the community. It was at that time, it's not really, so we had I never, I always had my needs taken care of and so on.
And did you grow up around, were there white kids, black kids?
No. So we just... colored community.
So your mom, I'm assuming she's colored.
No, my mother is half Indian, half Malay.
Okay.
So that's sort of at that. So a lot of times in Cape Town,
from South Africa.
So in Cape Town, what used to happen is the Indian businessman used to come over from India and then have a Malay wife. So that is both my grandparents on that side have that dynamic, with the Indian father and a Malay mother. So both my grandparents are, I think, half Malay, half Indian. So we had Indian family and Malay family. So in Cape Town, there's the term Cape Muslim.
Right.
So it's more because it's more, and generally in Cape Town it's less insular. So you'd find there's much more overlap culturally, and with is not this distinction in Durban and Johannesburg between the Indian and the Malay as much.
Okay.
It's not that it's not there. It's just it's not as like solid.
Yeah.
You know.
When was the first time you met up with a Durban Indian?
Yeah, because you could have easily been there. I think your father missed the stopover in Durban on the ship.
So Durban, I actually only got involved in when I did comedy. When I started coming over, then I started to experience different parts of the world. First, I went to Johannesburg, experienced the Joburg Indians, and I. Like a lot of my famous jokes is based on that 15 minutes boss.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what I'm thinking.
You must come home. Yeah. That was a Joburg thing. I
still use the 15 minutes boss thing to this day.
Like, you must come home, but I'd never give you address or phone number or contact details. You need anything, just, but then, but how am I supposed to?
You know what? Yak is definitely not a proper Indian, because you know what? He went to fetch you from Eastgate now.
Yeah.
And I said, how long are you going to take, Yak? And he said, 10 minutes.
But I was literally 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But, I'm so glad that the food in your household must have been lit. And I was asking Siham, your PA, what should we get you to eat? And I was so nervous. I was like, should we give you some samosas or chili bites or whatever? And I'm glad you told us your background, because I don't think we would have done justice to feeding you.
No, it's like
you pack your own lunch.
But also because you grew up in a doctor home, our diet was more like, at that time, eggs were evil. At that time, cholesterol, eggs were evil. My mother always adjusted sugar intake and all of that. And, we would eat differently also to my cousins, because we came from a doctor home. in a sense.
That's interesting because
we wouldn't have like the delectable delights that they would have. So when we go to their houses, we go, ugh,
I think that might be unique, because apparently doctors, kids, like if you've got a sore leg or something, your dad will say, "No, don't worry, walk it off."
Yes, right.
Was that also the situation?
Well, my dad is very quiet also.
Okay.
So he only says something when it needs to be said.
Right.
And then it's sort of, this is what my perspective is. Yeah. And generally you take his advice, not because he's forcing you, very soft-hearted guy, but, he sort of leads very much by example.
Okay.
Very hardworking guy. You just see him and quiet.
Stoic type.
Yeah. Stoic, very stoic.
So
I think coming from his background is understandable. There's this scene, he only saw his family after 20 years. I think when he was doing medicine.
Yeah.
I think when he was doing medicine, he was, final year medicine. Right? And then they had to go there on ship that time. So he got to the port, and usually, right, they were still on the ship deck. Usually, obviously, the people collecting you aren't allowed on the ship. But his father was, like, I think a postmaster, and he had some sort of connection with the people on the ship, and he was able to get on the ship. And my father's still waiting to get off the ship, and some man taps him on his shoulder, and he says, "Are you Nisar Maruf?" And he says, "Yes." And he says, I'm your father, Jane.
Wow. Yeah. You should make a movie about that. Titanic, but the Indian version.
I actually want to have that thematically for my next show, because I'm touring with a show now called What's the Point? And it's also based on, the state of the world at the moment, thematically, it's got like serious underlying themes. What's the point? And more sort of introspective. And the next show is going to be called The Shiny Lie, right? It's like based on false idol concept. And I want to expand on all of these things. But obviously there's a lot of silliness and a lot of jokes throughout the show, but underlying it is this sort of theme. And I thought maybe as a sort of an emotional hook at some point, like in a movie, you tell this story, because it's quite an interesting one. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I have noticed about your shows. And then, I mean, even though it's very comedic related, there's an undertone of a message of some form of, call it morality, in most of them.
I think it's like, this is more stock, the show, particularly What's the Point? It's more stock, like, because, but I guess as you get older, different things become interesting to you. You become naturally more introspective, so I guess I'm just evolving, my humor is evolving as I get older.
Can I just ask one question before we move on? How did your dad, how did he communicate the whole time with your granddad in India? Was it like letters? How did they know?
I actually don't know. I think that at that, I'm sure there must have been letters at that time, but then over the years they would I think call a lot, phone calls. My mother actually helps a lot with their connection. Like she actually maintains their connection more than he does.
Well, put in a word for us. Can we get him on the show? Maybe we can ask him all these questions.
Put in a word. Man.
I'll ask him all the questions.
I don't think he always shies away from those things. Yeah.
Well, that's the way to hook him in. Tell him that the host had a 4-finger amputation after climbing Everest. And you're the hand guy.
Yeah.
So school now. I mean, you were a nerd. You were doing well. You knew you wanted to be a doctor. So you put your head down, got 7 A's or whatever.
Did you say you were a nerd? I hadn't picked that up.
A nerdish, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a nerdish, like
clever,
studious.
Yeah.
I'd play sport.
What
that
sport?
was like a less nerdish.
Like what, cricket?
Right? No. I played tennis and then basketball.
Oh, wow.
So it's unusual.
Yeah.
But for Indian brat to play basketball.
Yeah.
But I played basketball. I could jump very high. My son makes fun of me now because I don't have my explosive ability anymore. Right? I'm trying to, I've heard that like skipping actually helps like improve that again. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm watching also a lot of Peter Attia talks about longevity.
Yes. Longevity.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to.
Are you on 1 meal a day and everything?
I'm fasting now again. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. But I don't know about 1 meal a day.
16-8.
Yeah. Most times 16-8.
Yeah.
But then I want to sort of, I don't want to have it standard, because if you just take the first principle of the ancestors, sometimes fasting and feasting, and sometimes so you don't want your metabolism to be used to an exact thing. So maybe have maybe do OMAD.
Yes.
Like
they
a
say
couple
switch it
of
up,
times,
yeah.
and then do 16-8, do keto. But generally lower sugar, like cut down on the sugar. My biggest challenge is late at night.
Yeah.
Right.
A snack.
Like when your inhibitions are down, you go, well, all day I'm disciplined, bruh.
Yeah.
Right. I'm Habib. Yeah. All day, disciplined. Like stoic. I know what I'm doing at night, bro. It's like all of a sudden, that the chuckles is calling to me, Riaad.
That red packet.
Yeah.
Riaad,
I know they've got like 20 different varieties of
Riaad.
that.
And then I've exercised, so I've got a thing. And usually when you exercise a lot, you go and and also you're pickish.
Yeah, I know. The struggle is real.
It's a real.
Do you use an app? I use an app to track my fasting.
No.
It's called Zero. I pay like 1,000 Rand a year for it.
Really?
It's literally a glorified timer.
This is a paid partnership. What's that?
It's literally...
No, what would you do? I'm looking for techniques.
Look here, on my watch, so check. I've got goosebumps because I'm enjoying this conversation with a fellow TRF, time-restricted feeder.
Feeding.
But you see, I've been 16 hours, 37 minutes, and all I do is click end fast.
No, but what time do you stop then?
It depends. I switch it up also, but I usually have my breakfast about midday, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Now. And I only started the OMAD because I got this braces in my mouth, Invisalign.
Yes.
And every time you take them off, you've got to floss and brush teeth.
Yes, and all of that stuff.
So I'm so lazy. I said, let me hit it once a day.
Once a day.
And now I think that's my lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my family, my parents, my uncle especially, called me. He said, I saw you, dude. You're looking unhealthy, man. Like you've lost weight. You're not you. Start eating.
Yes.
That's how it is. Indians, we have a term called healthy. When somebody is looking plump, they say looking healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm clearly unhealthy. Okay, but anyway.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, not about me.
That's weird, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Yeah. But it's cool. Nice to have a fellow TRFer.
Yeah.
You were saying, I think you did well. Did you get 7 A's and you got into...
Well, I did pretty well. I wouldn't never say... Well, like that time it was different. I got into medicine.
Everywhere. Where did you apply?
Only UCT.
You took a chance.
UCT is UCT. But back in the day, it was like... And also my parents are UCT alumni.
Okay. So does that help?
Yeah, it helps.
And then when did you start as a med student?
And then I started... Was it 95?
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago, bro.
Yeah.
Things were different back then.
Yeah.
And I had a really good experience doing medicine. But the problem was, so all my life I wanted to do medicine, right? And then I started doing magic.
I'm looking at Yak and smiling because you guys are on the similar path, eh? But go on. Magic, where?
Magic at the College of Magic. So then in Cape Town, there's a place called the College of Magic, Lansdowne Road, Claremont.
Yeah.
And it's sort of...
No, but how did you get into this? There was no TikTok and Instagram and all those things to inspire
people. A weird thing because I got into... So first of all, I would do entertaining things. I do voices. I like doing impersonations. That's my...
Like a typical
aptitude.
introvert, I say sarcastically. Right? Yeah.
No, but my aptitude. And then... my friend Abu Bakr Bray, Standard 7, back when it was called Standards.
Grade 9.
Grade 9, right? He came to me with this pamphlet for the College of Magic. And I remember it clearly that the typical white dove, top hat, magic wand, white glove, right? Let's do this magic, right? And I was like, okay, not too interested, but maybe this is something I'd like to do. Something drew me to it, but like not quite exactly. And I didn't know what was the not quite yet. And then I ended up going to the College of Magic. And Abu Bakr didn't go.
This is Standard 7?
This is stand 7.
Yeah.
It's just like on a weekend you'd go there.
Your parents were cool. They were like, okay.
Yeah.
They were supportive.
Essentially, that was the problem. I went to the College of Magic. He didn't because his parents said magic was haram.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jadoo. Black magic.
Yeah.
No.
Is it
But
not
it's
haram?
just tricks. It's tricks. It's like it's an entertaining thing.
Yeah.
And then that's also, if you talk about being exposed to different races, it's my first experience with the white dudes.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
Right? At the College of Magic, Riaad. People used to call me Riaad. Right?
Yeah.
David Gore.
Yeah.
Riaad. And interestingly enough, like there's a lot of other comedians that went to the College of Magic. My friend Stuart Taylor, very well-known comedian in Cape Town, the ventriloquist Conrad Koch, who does Chester Missing.
Yeah.
He was a year ahead of us. So we were all teenagers together. Right? And we were at the College of Magic for many years until matric, sort of. So on just the extracurricular activity. And then my magic, while I was studying, still always wanted to do be a doctor. My magic sort of evolved into comedy magic. So I like the comedy aspect.
Penn and Teller types.
Well, there's a few guys, I think David Williamson and Tom Ogden. These guys, they do magic, but they all got funny quips and funny one-liners and stuff like that. And I didn't know of a thing called stand-up comedy, but I gravitated towards the funny stuff. And because my grandfather is a joke teller, a natural joke teller from my mother's side of the family, just natural, one of the uncles that would just stand there and, captivate the room. Naturally good at delivering jokes, right? And then I liked the comedy. And then only after I used to do magic, I did children's parties while I was at med school, just for a bit of money, extra money. And then I saw stand-up comedy, 4th year medicine. First time I saw stand-up comedy, UCT, one of these, I just saw this guy, like it's going to be stand-up comedy.
On campus?
Yeah, on campus. All this, There was this chubby guy with a small tie playing a banjo. Can't remember his name. But he's the first comedian I saw. And I thought, this is interesting. And then I started hanging out with a group called the Cape Comedy Collective.
Okay.
Right? And I was doing comedy magic with these guys. Right? And then at one point they had comedy workshops and I did my first set. And what inspired the first set was, it was like just around 9/11, or actually around the Planet Hollywood bombings.
Oh.
It was Planet Hollywood bombing, and so sort of where the whole thing, anti-Muslim thing, started coming about, right? And then we go, okay, this is weird how people are starting to see us. And then that prompted almost a lot of my humor as I got into it, the stereotypes about Muslims, right? And like sort of giving a different perspective, and that was my first sort of foray into stand-up. And then very quickly I threw away my magic tricks.
Right.
Because I go, this is the thing. This is actually the thing I love. This is the thing. And then I continued with medicine.
Where did you get the time to study medicine?
No, it was just like, it was all what it is like you go on the weekend. It was just a hobby that I had. I would do some stand-up comedy with other groups of guys, like people play tennis or people, play cards or whatever, just, this was just my little thing that I did. And then it was only final year where I was thinking like, yo, dude, or around that time, actually 4th year, after I saw stand-up, I was thinking, do I really want to do medicine? That's when I had this sort of, okay, and then after 4th year medicine, I actually took a break for a year.
What, a gap year, like?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice to have doctor parents. You can just take a gap year.
But a gap year with doctor parents and my father is different.
Yeah.
Actually, this is where I'm actually remembering it wrong. Like, I actually had doubts while I was performing, doing the magic, right? And after 4th year medicine, I took off a year. And that is the year that I saw stand-up. But where did I see stand up? I saw it on Upper Campus. So why am I on Upper Campus during gap year? That's the question. Because my father said, if you're going to take a year of medicine, you might as well study something else that's beneficial for you, right? Right, in your gap year. So I did economics, I did Xhosa, and I did Afrikaans. Languages.
So you didn't really take a gap year. Your parents just redirected.
But that was my gap year. No, just for a year.
Indian,
Yeah. So I'm going to do this because I'm going back, right? This is what I'm going to do. I actually got the class medal for
Can you speak? It's Xhosa.
Is Xhosa, yeah.
You can speak a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you. We can speak on a conversational
Zulu.
Dental. Zulu.
So then that year, the fourth year I used to do magic tricks on the steps, so I was the dude doing funny magic stuff.
Yeah.
Right. The weirdo doing funny magic stuff for people. And then I would do, I saw the stand-up comedy. I started performing stand-up even when I went back to medicine. So 50 or 60, I would do shows with the Cape Comedy Collective all over. Right. And then I started, I think it was during my internship year, because I came here to Johannesburg to Natalspruit Hospital to do with the first Natalspruit Hospital in Thokoza. I used to stay in Alberton with a man named Giel, the most yellow man in this, interestingly enough.
And Giel means yellow.
He was named Giel. And everything like he had was like themed yellow. He didn't have like cirrhosis or anything like that, liver disease. But everything else was yellow. And
maybe that wasn't his real name, but they just called him Giel because he liked yellow.
And then I used to drive through to Thokoza and do stand-up. Do my medicine at Natalspruit Hospital, and almost every night, a lot of times I used to drive through to Fordsburg or Johannesburg and do shows, and then be back for Hood round. Like, I mean, I wouldn't hang around after the shows like other comedians, and that time comedians were doing hectic stuff. Yeah. Right? I mean, like a lot of substances involved.
Okay.
So I would just go and do stand-up, and then I'd drive back.
You never got involved in all those things, eh? Like bad habits and things.
No. It's almost like my stand-up was my bad habit.
And plus, it was okay. You were the doctor, so that people would excuse it. This guy's health conscious.
No, it was like a weird thing. It was a weird thing that what I was doing. It was weird. Like,
did you make friends in Joburg?
Yeah.
All
my comedian friends now. So Joey Rasdin, then I met a few years later. Because that's when the Pure Monate show came about.
Yeah.
And the Pure Monate shows is like our In Living Color, as it were. And
I remember that. That was on
SABC
One, and then Comedy Central for a little bit.
No, not Comedy Central. I don't know if they bought it for a while, but and sort of that's where a lot of the comedians who are actually prominent today started. It was very influential in this era, the New South Africa era for comedy. So a lot of the comedians you see, like including Trevor, Noah, and Eugene Koza, saw us because like we were the young guys, sort of the new, like racially diverse breed, all like who never spent, because we were at that time where like high school was apartheid and then university was New South Africa. So it was like a real change.
Amazing.
And then all of a sudden you're hanging around with different races and you all united in this weird love of this art form, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Right? All people from backgrounds, that's what we liked. And then we started just mainly performing for white people. And then slowly I started doing my one-man shows, and everybody started doing their own thing, and all these other comedy audiences.
Did you have to adapt your content for a white audience?
Well, it wouldn't even be adapt, because that's where you're performing. You're performing for white audiences. It's more like this is the audience, so you talk about certain things. So that time it was more racial, the humor, more racial.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, still is, but obviously, dealing with that, it's a natural thing coming out of apartheid.
And then doing medicine on the side. So you did your internship 2 years.
So internship, 1 year, that time was 1 year, and then comm service. I came back to Cape Town, did 6 months at Khayelitsha, Side B, and 6 months at GSH, Grote Schuur. And the thing about that year was, that's when now these guys, my contemporaries, had the opportunity to get on the Pure Monate show. It was the first season. So they're going to do a TV show now, and I'm going to go and do my comm service. I'm going to do comm service.
Save lives.
And they do a TV show.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to be involved, right? I wrote scripts for that show.
Have you watched the Pure Monate show?
No.
It's like skits.
I know of it.
It's like short skits.
Some of it is like
it's called
amazing.
PMS,
Yeah, some of it was absolutely amazing, and some of it was horrifically. Because, like in terms of, it was amazing because it was so bold. Right, a lot of it, like, it was like you watch it back now, it's like, this is incredible, and then others is really bad because production value, and there was no guidance that time. We were our own guides, and that's why you had these moments of magic coming about, right? It was like almost free form. Most times people wouldn't allow that type of thing, and credit to the SABC for actually allowing us, because if I look at it back then as a middle-aged guy, I go like, yo, you let these young guys do this thing. And we were thought they were restricting us. Yeah, how can they be like this? Are they stupid? This is what people like,
So
But
you used to write
now
for the show.
you realize, but then the following year, when I think, okay, I'm going to just go to Joburg, I'm going to do this second season.
You stopped medicine?
No, I came here and I thought, okay, I'm just going to come through here. I did locums, right? I'm going to do locums. That was my idea. I'm going to do locums and I'll do the show,
Yeah.
But then, big shows started popping up, all these comedy jams at that time, massive shows. And I was doing well with the comedy, so I was always booked. And then I I followed the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Like an infection.
So when you say you were doing well, was it financially? You meant
like I was doing fine financially. I think medicine, well, I would think, I can't remember. I think this is the monies we were getting. And this is before compulsory overtime, 7 grand. Internship
2001, around there.
Yeah. I'd say 2003. Right. Comm service, 10 grand.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah. Right. And so with stand-up, I was making money, bro. Yeah, bro. I was making money. So it's like, so it wasn't a financial.
Like what? How much were they paying you for? Like,
no, I can make my, like, I'm going to do a show, you get 5 grand. So I do a number of shows. But the big ones. For the big ones. No, that time you would do 20 minutes, like you'd be on a lineup. I wasn't doing my own things.
So you never got nervous? Do you get nervous?
Yeah, everybody. You should good nerves.
What does that mean?
So that time I would still be more nervous than I am now. Now it's like running a race. So you got to have a little bit of nerves, adrenaline just before. So you can't have adrenaline running through your body from the night before, when you pee every 5 minutes.
But how do you prevent
your mouth is dry? Through doing it over and over. Now it's almost like I maintain like a steady state until just before, and then I just if I maintain a steady state, then I don't perform as well.
Do you have any like preparatory rituals and things, or
no? I like to have my guests when I do my shows, my public shows, to have certain music that sort of gets me into the mood.
What type of music?
So it's usually the pre-show music, whatever's playing, the playlist that I want before the show, and then I just let it play.
What genre is it? Like hip hop?
No, it depends. So this show would be a number of things that's thematically oneness, and based on that, and it's more spiritual in a sense. But I mean, it's like and based on what I'm going to talk about in the show.
Okay.
So
what type of music do you listen to in general, if at all?
I like lyrics.
Yeah.
So I like obviously music with a good beat, but a lot of times like the lyrics will connect me to the show. So I would like singer-songwriters because I like, hey, that dude is very creative.
Do you know Youngster?
Words.
CPT?
I do know Youngster.
I enjoy his music, yeah. Okay, so that's when medicine just stopped.
Yeah, and I didn't know that it was going to stop.
No.
It's just like at that point now.
Just a natural progression.
Now,
Locums dried up.
Right, and all of a sudden, and that time very soon. No, then I just didn't. And then I'll go back. I'm going to specialize, most likely.
In what?
What
did you want to?
Like whatever, like what am I going to do? Maybe pediatrics. I was thinking at that time.
Why?
Because of the magic. So I'd be busy with kids' parties and all of that thing. I thought maybe I have an aptitude for that, you know. And
I think you'd be a good pediatrician.
Yeah, and I thought so. And then just, we even started talking about movies. Like there was a guy called Attia and started talking about the story of a doctor comedian, and that prompted talking about scripts, and that eventually morphed into the movie material. Like over many years, we just removed the doctor thing because you thought now, like the stakes. Oh, you can't do comedy. You have to settle on being a doctor. Shame. We feel so sorry for you.
Yeah.
So we moved it to the story about working the shop, this material shop. Which is based on a real story about like two brothers in Fordsburg having to separate. The one decided to go to the Oriental Plaza because of the Group Areas Act. They had to do that, and the other one refused. I'm never going to go. That's a bastion of apartheid. They had that fight. So we incorporated that true story into the movie. And so it is now. Then I'm like, now
you directed that, right?
Well, not directed, just wrote in story. It is a story. Story was by me. We wrote it in conjunction with Craig Frymont. Also helped us with the second film. And then at that time, I'm doing my own shows now, strictly halal. Now all of a sudden, there's Muslims in the audience.
Wow. Yeah.
So now the humor is different. Now we're talking about more nuanced cultural stuff, right? That you can't talk about in an audience, audience of everybody.
You don't want to get cancelled also. How do you avoid getting cancelled?
At that time,
there's no cancel culture.
Anything like that, not specific.
Is that a good thing? Like, are you
Actually, I got more crap than other comedians because of this Muslim thing.
Yeah.
Because I would do, like, I remember there was a skit that we did after Osama bin Laden was killed. And I did like a musical parody about mixing the whole two things. Like, and back then P. Diddy did a song, or Puff Daddy, I'm Missing You, with Faith Evans.
Yeah.
So we did a Al-Qaeda version of that. Yeah. Right, where the other Al-Qaeda guy is singing about Diddy. Yeah. Not singing about Diddy, singing about Osama.
These are definitely things that might get you cancelled.
At that time. So it was very popular on the TV show. And that was actually Late Night News with Louis Sogola.
Right.
And but then I got very, I got hectic.
Death threats?
From the community. And I was thinking, why? Because the messaging is like very anti-imperialist. But you see, because like the way in which I did it, I see it's almost like you would be mocking religion, which it wasn't. But the way it came across, that like I can understand how people, I think I should have dressed in a different outfit, that's a less associated with religious things, and try and make it more Afghani.
Yeah. But this,
like Talibani.
Right.
It's like, I don't think I addressed it completely well.
But doesn't social media scare you? Because like you can just do something inadvertently and then be trending for the wrong reasons. You don't worry about that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, these days social media is a weird thing. Like, I mean, you live in the age of deception. We're living in this age where you're not going to know what is true. And it's almost like you have to default to principles. Like, I mean, as opposed to going, what is actually going on? You have to look beyond what is the video. You have to go, does this align with principle that I have, because you don't know what is real. You have to spend a lot of time focusing on what is real and what is not. It's actively, this is a tool to lie. And at the same time, you can gain a lot of knowledge, but it's a very difficult and different time. Like AI, even with making
deep fakes and all that stuff.
And I'm also just trying to, can I make an AI Riaad Moosa? I'm trying to investigate that with ChatGPT. I'm trying to put in all my material, right? And then trying to create a master prompt that I can make into a custom GPT. I'm trying to do that, but it's going to take long, because the ChatGPT also doesn't take in laughs.
Oh.
It only takes in language.
Right.
So that is a variable that doesn't see. Also, ChatGPT doesn't see the body language.
Yes, which is a crucial thing. Yeah?
Very important. So, but at a certain point where the AI can take in body language, the laughs, right, and the language
and tone and everything,
and all of that. Yeah. Then I'm sure that it'll be able to create
what's that input mechanism? You'd record your audience and then just put that in.
So what I'm maybe trying to do now is like I go big laugh, medium laugh, small laugh. So I put the transcript of my show in, and then I will tell the GPT, because I ask it, so if I do it like this and say that, that'll help me very much. That's an awesome idea. Let's do it like that.
Don't you find she's a bit condescending?
Hey, like
mine is a he.
Yeah.
Not
I
a she.
Say
I call him Mr. Chatterjee.
Yeah.
And he calls me Dr. Naidu. Genuinely.
You say call me that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving away too much of how weird I am, but I call him Mr. Chatterjee.
Yeah.
And when I joke with him, he calls me Dr. Naidu, and he knows when I'm joking.
Yes, so it's like it's learning.
Yeah.
And that is the weird thing. You created not a tool, you created an entity. And you got to learn how to interact with this thing. So I am trying to explore that, but I mean, it's a different thing. I can see how this thing, if it can, it'll understand humor much better once it can see the laugh and the body language.
Yeah. What are those three professions that are highly protected against AI?
A priest, a dentist, and a plumber.
A comedian, yeah.
A comedian.
Comedians are, because also you're talking honestly. Like, I mean, it's personal stories. So that's what people will relate to. However, I can see staff writers and for comedy shows, like cutting down on staff writers, I'm sure.
Wow.
Just with general jokes,
to create the core.
Punching up a script, because what they would do now is they would have a whole lot of comedians, like Trevor. Well, when you did the Daily Show, he'd be the main dude, but then they'll have a whole host of comedians. First, they decide what they're going to talk about, and then they will go, okay, give me also jokes based on this thing. Then everybody go away. They work out options. They put it out. They send it in, and then the execs will look at this and go, that's a good one, incorporate and show this to Trevor. Trevor will do it in his way, it's like that. So now a lot of that can be done with the AI.
Definitely. When did you know you were famous?
Famous, yeah.
Like, when did you realize?
After the movie.
Yeah.
After.
Do people come up to you and say, hey, 15 minutes, boss? And
especially back in the day, yeah.
How did that happen those days? There was no social media to go viral.
It was the movie. It's my show, Strictly Halal. Actually, for the Baraka, the second one, because I had it on DVD, and that DVD did very well.
Okay.
And then obviously people copied it and all that jazz, right? So that's how I got, and the movie material. I would say those two things are the things that made me sort of very well known. And it's sort of still, and then I now these days, and I just keep on putting out stand-up content. So it sort of just grows that.
Okay.
I almost feel like I can utilize these old things still.
Yeah, rehash them.
Right, in order to,
or recycle.
Especially the movies for a younger generation.
Yeah, there's probably a whole generation that doesn't know your content. The 15 minutes boss thing and all that.
They probably say it, but they don't know where it comes from.
Somebody doesn't know, Like, and some of it works. So the way, interestingly enough, you put the things on TikTok and the old stuff, And then the old stuff works way better on TikTok because also the old stuff is more aligned with the younger audience. And those jokes were also more aligned with the younger audience.
That happens with music too, eh? Yeah, like old songs from the 70s become famous again.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you still registered with the HPCSA and pay your fees?
I'm not, but I'm trying to get back.
Why?
I want to, because I want to do also a wellness podcast, like a sort of communicate wellness content in a funny way, quirky that way, and I feel like, if it can skew towards like mental health and talking about those things, and maybe also using humor as a therapeutic tool, delving into those things as well, and where I can talk about wellness with comedians predominantly.
I'll subscribe.
I mean, like, I think I could have some legs, but it'd be better if I do have some form of registration. And then maybe like I maybe want to do like a course, I think with family medicine. I think I want to just do that, get back into it. But that's sort of an aspiration over the next few years.
Okay.
So I'll do that in conjunction with my stand-up, which is my first love, I would say.
Yeah, I'm glad you said in conjunction, because you almost sounded like you're about to give up the comedy. Slow down.
No. It's more like it's just like something that you also find interesting. It's like you evolve into, I realize the stand-up also, I'm not going to be going where I specifically want to go. You want to get more nuanced and more niche and talk about things in greater detail, and things get more complicated. Whereas when you do stand-up, that's all these broader issues, but it has to be condensed into a joke format that's relatable to a family audience, But you would also like talk about the same concepts, just expand on it, intellectually with people that can connect with you and stuff like that, and relate. And like, I mean, even the science of stand-up and the art form, discussing the nuances of the art form, do it with dudes my age, they all get it, all comedians my age, we can talk about those things. And there's a lot of lessons also in terms of stand-up comedy, a lot of lessons that you can learn, and then also a lot of that is also, if you think about what I do in a corporate setting, if I could, that's also a thing that I could do with regard to wellness. Wellness is a big thing in corporate setting. So if I could deliver a wellness talk and, things like that as well. So maybe nurture my corporate business as well. It's just like also just expanding things, I think. And then it also forms a marketing thing, because so much of what you do is like lost.
Yeah.
So much of what you do is completely different. All these, like, I remember doing a show on East Coast radio, and I would as I'm on air, I could see sales. I'm doing a show at the convention center, right? Like that was like amazing. You get on East Coast radio for Durban, as you are talking, you see sales. You never see that now. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Prime time slot, you'll never see that. It's not as effective. No way.
You've got to get on Anela in the club, 94.7. Imagine what'll happen there.
So even if you get
don't pull a Zilla though.
Right, compared to, dude.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what's going on.
Don't go fight with Anela. Go on.
Yeah. So, but you do that and people will hear, but it's nowhere near as effective as it used to be.
Yeah. But speaking of like relations, you've got a young family now. How do you balance you being on tour? Because just recently, I mean, you've done shows like the past week. You've been traveling.
No, but so what happens? We were in PE for 2 weeks now.
You and the family?
With the family. And then they were also at the show in PE. And I was contemplating cancelling the show because my mother-in-law was very ill. So it was like at that point where if it was not going to go, if she wasn't improving, then I'll go, I can't go do this big show here. But she was improving significantly, so I did the show. And it's a big show, like 1,500 people. So it's a big thing, difficult to, just cancel that and find another date and all that jazz. And then most times they will come with me in the holidays.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So ideally going forward, I'd like to structure it around doing mainly shows on the weekends, right? And then during school holidays.
Mm.
So in the week is like as normal, and then go do a show on the weekend, right? And then if people want to come, if I do a show, I do a run in Durban for a long time, then it can be coincide with school holidays. It also helps. I mean, it's better for sales, and also people are freer. So it kind of works. The only thing is, like, every time we're on a holiday, I have to work, you know? But it's also cool. I mean, the kids like it. They come there. They also have their own jobs. My son takes photographs, and the others are the marketing team. The babies are the marketing.
Make them work. Yeah, make them work.
Yeah. My daughter will be the most excellent at it. She doesn't want to do anything. She's a teenage girl. So she doesn't want to help at all. But she would be the most excellent. When she was younger, she was the most amazing at that type of thing.
What do you want them to become when they grow up?
I want them to find work that is rewarding and meaningful. That's predominantly where they obviously can look after themselves. But, you know, you want to do work that you really enjoy, and we live in a time where that's definitely possible. So as long as they have the principle of hard work, and, you know, and they actually understand that, you know, the failure actually opens up more ideas, having the concept and just experimenting and trying all the time until you find you got to have your vision. Sometimes you don't have your vision immediately. Some people have their vision early on, and you can just focus on that vision. And sometimes that vision has to be distilled. And like, I think for me, my vision has definitely been distilled. And it's almost like now with my comedy, I'm even trying to get my comedy into a more alignment with my comedy voice, to be more in alignment with who I am. Right? I like to started my comedy journey more out there, and it's still me. It was always still me, but it's just has to be as authentic. It's almost like I can get off stage. I mean, be off stage and go on stage, and like, it must just be no change almost.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I have to bring the stage persona into my real life also, and bring the off-stage persona into the comedy.
That's interesting, because we were discussing how we could structure this thing on this past weekend. And I was nervous, because I've also been in the comedy scene, believe it or not. During COVID, I did a little bit of stand-up.
Where?
It was with the Goliath brothers.
Oh, awesome.
And our mutual friend, Dokrat. That's how we got in contact.
Hey, he's the man, bro. How's his health? He's
doing better. He's doing better. Yeah.
Like, he's a funny guy.
Yeah. He's naturally funny.
He is who that dude is.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, there's that complete alignment.
Exactly. He's his authentic self.
That's him.
When he comes here for dental treatment, also,
that's him.
We got to set aside like an hour and a half, because it's talking first and then like dentistry. But the one thing I did notice when I first started hanging around comedians is the more funny they are, the less of a persona they had off stage. And it was difficult to actually talk. But then I could understand at the same time, you know, they're overwhelmed and they're inundated with people just talking to them all the time.
Right. So there's a barrier.
Yeah.
Hey?
Exactly. So
you just find a barrier. Like, it's almost like I have a neutral. I generally project the neutral. Joey will be an a-hole sometimes. Yeah.
Off camera. Yeah.
Right. I will generally be neutral.
Yeah.
And then people go, huh? That's weird. You know, I turn it on when I need to turn it on.
Yeah.
But you completely right. You see that. And like comedians, like, literally, there is a depressive aspect to comedians. Like, I mean, generally you would find that. And I like to also explore all of these things when I talk to comedians. Like, I mean, like, are you happy, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel you're happy? Because I know, and does comedy actually make you happy? You know? Are you here for the money? and you just happen to be funny, or does comedy make you happy? There are people who like literally need the comedy, and there are just funny dudes who don't really need it. You know, they're just good at it.
Yeah, and ended up making some bucks from it.
Yeah.
Who do you see as your mentor? What's the sort of comedy?
Like all the guys, we learned from each other. So I would say my entire crew, from David Cow to Kagiso Lediga to Joey Rasdin to Chris Forrest, Loiso Gola, Mark Lottering, all the guys that I grew up with, you know, were very influential.
And these are all Cape Town boys.
Cape Town.
You guys were around each other.
So we were very influenced by each other. And then there were the old guys at that time who also looked up to. And Mark
Trevor,
Banks.
Yeah.
Mark Banks.
Was Trevor ever in your circle?
So Trevor just came a little bit after.
But he is Joburg, yeah.
Yes, Joburg. And then you could just see Trevor was just incredible at what he did. And what was Trevor's gift is that Trevor can usually take this confidence, number one. No one is as confident as Trevor. He's supremely confident. And also, he's able to take something off stage and then work out the idea and then on stage deliver it flawlessly. So he has a flawless delivery. So that's also tied in with the confidence.
Yeah.
Apparently his memory is extremely good.
And he practices quite a lot.
Right.
Yeah, from what I watched.
Right. But that's what, that's what he is. So that's what it is. Like from that time, if you think about Trevor. So Trevor hasn't changed as a comedian, I would even say. His process is still very much the same. Like, he's a fully formed comedian at that time. And then you'll see that the guys at a certain time, they were funny for the time, but they never worked on their jokes. And now they're not doing as well because they didn't put effort into it. And then there were people who were kind of funny but worked extremely hard. So they have developed.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like sportsmen. You can be naturally talented if you don't put anything into it. You mentioned Trevor's memory. When you think of something funny, how do you remember it? Like, do you make a note or send yourself a voice
Usually
note?
When you create something, it's easier. You can get it back.
Right.
But now I think I need to just make a note of it.
Yeah.
And then the best way for me is to constantly perform. And then in the morning, I naturally tweak. I find it works extremely well to naturally tweak the thing, because I know from the previous night what worked well and what didn't work well. I get new ideas. I try things out a different way. And then I also understand, because I listen to the audience, because the laughs is the feedback, you know? So the best thing is just to always perform. My best way to create is to have a run in a theater,
right,
and in the morning write for a couple of hours, 2 hours.
Where's the best audience in the country? Cape Town?
That varies.
Don't sit on the fence. Come on, give us a...
It varies. I would say the Cape Town audiences are more expressive.
Okay.
Durban audiences...
I heard they're difficult, Durban.
They are there. They're full. But they're not the most expressive.
Yeah, even with concerts. Like, we just sit and watch. I'm saying we as a Durbanite.
Not the most, but I mean, they're there.
Right.
They fill the place. That's what I appreciate about the Durban audiences.
Okay.
And it's interesting enough, because I will do these shows, and then after the show, my audience specifically don't clap as much.
Okay.
Like at the end of a show, and then you find white people giving me standing ovations.
Yeah.
All right. Like even on the weekend, it's like I had a dude.
Yeah.
And then just looking at all the Indians and go,
Yeah. We're very reserved people, aren't we? That's why I think the
Right.
urban audience is mostly Indians, so it's that culture,
especially
right?
the Muslim Indians.
Okay.
Muslim
More
Indians,
conservative.
Yeah, hectic.
But they're there. At least they're there.
They're there.
They're pulling in and they're laughing
They're pulling
inside.
in and they're laughing inside. Yeah.
Nobody heckles you, stuff.
You do it at times.
Yeah.
You know.
Even now, just to this day.
Yeah. But I mean, heckling is like, it's not a culture here.
Yeah.
Like in the UK, heckling can be harsh because it's part of the culture. And comedians sometimes invite heckles.
Yes, they...
Like Jimmy Carr invites heckles. Any heckles?
Yeah.
Right?
Have dialogue.
And then, let's shout at me, insult me, and then I'll insult you back, and kind of a thing. But
You don't bomb these days, like...
like every Like every show is different, but obviously it happens less.
Okay.
Bar is usually a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, if you maintain your calm and so on, usually I can
focus on the person that's laughing as opposed to the...
generally, but like it can always happen.
Yeah.
Right. I was surprised a few months ago. I did a show for the SuperSport Golf Day, once SuperSport Golf Challenge, and it all like the best sportsmen from the last 3 decades there, from Francois Pinard to Victor Matfield, all the rugby players. What's the guy's name? Even Neil Tovey and Mark Fish and all of that from those. Yeah, and I died.
Yeah.
And that was so unusual because usually I do that audience and I do well. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Like while it's going on, I literally had this thought, if I fake the epileptic seizure, I think I could do it. And then people, I can at least go, no, something was going on with me.
Did you manage to pull it back though?
I should have.
Did you pull it back?
Dude, it was horrific. And they actually had to stop me. The MCs walked up on stage, took me off stage like a refugee. If you had a blanket, I'm sure he'd put it over my...
But you really stopped?
A soup. But nicely took me off stage. And I was like...
But what do you think that happened? What?
I think it was related to actually the genocide.
Oh, okay.
I think it was related to that.
So you were thinking of things?
No, I was going, I think, you get online and you think people have certain perspectives.
Mm.
And you think people believe certain things, and then obviously it's an audience filled with really prominent people.
Yeah. So all these...
I was just thinking, how bad it was. Victor Matfield, right? He had a career where almost every day the most powerful dudes would beat him up, right? For I don't know how long is a rugby game.
Yeah, 80 minutes, yeah.
Right?
80 minutes, yeah.
Right? Beat him up. Literally punish him to the point of having concussions and, brain injuries, chronic brain injuries, right? A man is used to enduring pain, maybe getting a dislocation and then just walking off stage, and then the doc goes, I'm going back in, right? Who's used to pain, right? You watch my set for 7 minutes. I can't take this.
He's used to the physical pain, not the torture, not the mental pain.
This is too much, bro.
So you got that feedback. People didn't...
No, they just walked out.
Afterwards?
No, they were more compassionate. Brian Abana said, what happened?
Okay.
He hugged me like I had a family member passing away, bro. Because they know I usually do well.
Yeah. But thanks for sharing the story, because it takes a lot to come up in public.
If I didn't have comedy, no, you see, for comedy, it's
part of the gig.
It's actually a therapeutic thing to make jokes about the whole thing.
Right.
I'll probably do a routine about it. I was sitting with the rugby players, the winners, the champions, right? Beforehand, afterwards, I couldn't go back, and then I thought I need to. I looked at the cricket team. These are chokers. Can I sit with you? They even said no, bro.
Yeah. They call you a choker.
Bafana people didn't want me. Then I knew. Then I knew it was bad.
Yeah. But thanks for sharing. I mean, everyone thinks that once you made it, then every show is going to be an automatic success.
No.
We know that.
Especially not in stand-up. Stand-up is just that's the nature of the gig. But that's why it's actually better from a spiritual perspective. I always say that, because you do a profession where you get elevated. I start my job. Imagine you came to work, right? And your patient was like, take a picture of the doctor, weird. It's weird, bro. Yeah. I start my job like that, and then you get applause and clapping and photographs and all this jazz, right? So for musicians, this thing can play with their psyche, right? And for comedy, you can actually just like lose it. Like, I mean, it keeps, you have to almost remain down to earth to connect to people.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the business.
But you have to bounce back, man. How did it take you long to bounce back from that day?
It took me a little bit of time, but I joked about it very quickly.
Okay.
Very quickly, yeah.
So apart from comedy, so you're not practicing.
But that was unusual because it's been years since I haven't ever had a show that was that bad.
Okay.
Right? And I was so surprised that it happened at that time.
What do you do for fun besides making people laugh?
Just hanging out with the kids and the family, playing a little bit of sport with them. Four.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my youngest is 7, my eldest is 17.
Sure. In this economy, yeah?
Yeah, dude, it's expensive.
Well,
that's why he's going to Dubai for the next show.
What are the next shows and things?
So next up we're going to Dubai. I'm on the What's the Point tour, if people haven't caught my show yet. So I'll be still touring Durban, Bloem, Cape Town. I don't think I'll come back to Joburg again, but I may. Just before I finally, put out the comedy special, because once I put out the comedy special, then I won't. But I've been doing lots of shows this year.
Right.
Lots of shows. So, so I think it's like about time, but I'm already ready for the next tour. I mean, I got the concept and I just need to now try out the jokes.
Yeah. Amazing. Dubai, you might check the Guptas, no audience there. You never know.
Yeah.
Let us know. We always ask this question on the show. Have we asked it yet? No, I don't think so.
About the kids.
We always say, if somebody comes to you now,
but can I?
There we go. Interrupted.
Yeah, no, that's like a finale type of question. I wanted to ask you, what's me knowing a few comedians, and I know how tough it is. It's hectic for the young guys that are like starting up and getting into the industry. And to be honest, I'm not calling out Comedy Central here, but they're a big part of bringing up these comedians and giving them a chance. But I noticed, like, from COVID and even post-COVID, Eric Janssen, do you remember, Eric Janssen? I mean, this guy went and got a job at the airport. He was packing bags in the plane.
COVID was hectic for everybody.
Yeah, but
COVID was hectic. There's a few guys that who adjusted quick. Like, I went out there specifically and I pivoted to doing my virtual stuff. And I was one of the ones who put a lot of effort into it. Right? Mark Lottering went next level during COVID. Like, really. And then a lot of guys like got knocked.
Yeah.
Even guys like me, at my level, got knocked.
Yeah.
And they never also recovered, or they slowly now recovering.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I got into comedy, it was just for the love of comedy. We didn't know where it could go. That was the difference. Now guys get into comedy, they know there's Trevor Noah. There's movies, they know there's TV shows, they know everything. When we got into comedy, it's just, we like this thing. All of my contemporaries.
Yeah.
Louis Sogola was doing stand-up comedy while he's in high school. Right? He's sort of Trevor Noah's age, but he was part of our crew. He's the young guy, but he's Trevor's age.
Yeah.
It's like almost like 7-8 years younger than us.
So my question there was, I mean, what do you see for the future of comedy here in South Africa specifically?
Well, I mean, lots of funny guys. Lots of funny guys. I think we should expand into Africa, definitely. I think we should have what I'm trying to do of more a comedy club set up, like a system like you have in the United States and the UK. People tour through this comedy club setup, but where you can actually make money. So the closest to that is the hospital model, the hotel model, right? Is where you actually put shows on at hotels, right? And then it's in different parts of the country. So you should have a hotel because it's less expensive. You've got Moosa Mocha does these shows. You've got like Joburg, Durban, Cape Town. If you could have East London, Port Elizabeth as well, and then also the smaller centers. Shows along the garden route, places where people can go. You should just have all these little things that all the comedians must tour through. So it's because like in America, what they do, they just start touring, and these little places. By the time they've gone through that, they have a show. You have a new show. And then you can go into a bigger theater. You can actually tour through bigger theaters. They're able to do that. Like we just need that infrastructure for comedy, like so that people know I'm going to watch comedy, and then they happen to see a great comedian, and then the comedians can sort of ascend through that way. But if you don't have that infrastructure, there's no way. Like I don't think that's going to happen. Otherwise, they'll do it maybe fame through the social media. Some guys are getting fame through social media and then putting on shows, and then the shows are okay compared to their social media presence. They're not as powerful on the live platform as they are on social media, because they understand the pace of it, which is very, very different. But some people assimilate quite well. So I think creating that infrastructure where we can actually tour more.
I know Mo does that really well. I mean, it's so weird how it translates, successful in all industries. Like, for example, here in the dental industry, a lot of people are practicing alone. And there's this thing called a DSO, where like they bring across group practices with multiple dentists that have, originally been practicing on their own. That gets very lonely.
Yes.
And, splitting costs and things like that. And this is what I know Mo Samoka is doing, where he's bringing together a lot of, calling it the show, but then showcasing the
comedians.
And I think that could work very well. I know it was tried with the Goliath brothers once upon a time.
Yes, COVID also knocked that.
COVID knocked that, unfortunately.
COVID knocked Kurt Schoonraad's club, the Cape Comedy Club in Cape Town at the waterfront. That was a big thing. Like, I mean, it's like... But Kurt is only now starting to do stand-up again. Like, he's touring with his own show. Because for many years he was involved in the Cape Comedy Club, and then he didn't do stand-up,
So you're optimistic about the future of comedy in South Africa?
I'm generally, my nature is optimistic, but I know things are going to change. Definitely things are going to change. So I even think about artificial intelligence and what it's actually going to do to the industry. I know people say that comedians are protected. I guess comedians with a brand are protected. And I think everybody with a brand is protected. That's what they say. If you have a brand and people looking for you specifically, then you're okay. But if you're going to rely on the AI in the future to go, hey, I want to see a comedy show, and then the AI is going to tell you.
But South Africans are funny. Eh? We're funny people. We've got a good sense of humor.
Yes.
Because we live like that. With so much trauma every day.
Yeah.
It's like an outlet.
Yeah.
When you read the comment sections on any post that goes viral in South Africa, the comments are hilarious. The guys have really good sense of humor.
So that's, for example, the nature of what social media is. It's like a lot of the stuff that we were doing as stand-up is now done on TikTok and done there. But then what happens is you very quickly, most of the stuff becomes hack. Most of it becomes just stereotypical and common and things, right? And then then your uniqueness is what sets you apart, essentially. So, and then there's so much, obviously, where a person just happens to make a funny comment, but now you're getting everybody's funny comment, and that one guy happened to have the best joke. It doesn't mean that he's the best comedian, but maybe just a bra. It's a little funny.
It happens,
And now that's the best joke. And it gets elevated because it's the best joke. So it's a very confusing time. I'm not saying that I think it's, and especially how they say it's going to change. Things are going to change so quickly without us knowing how it's going to change.
But you old timers must then nurture the young talent coming up, set up something.
Well, you see, the old timers give the wrong advice.
How old are you?
I'm 48.
Okay, so that's young, but an old timer in the game in South African comedy.
I really think that I can only give advice psychologically how to deal with stuff, really. I don't even go like, focus on your jokes. I go like, I know the industry. I know like how you deal with this main thing with fame and your aspiration and how you want more and what you think you need and what you're supposed to do. And, you know, what is a marker of success? What is real success? You know, people have different ideas in a very confusing industry. It's weird because like a lot of guys, especially as I started, we elevated very quickly. And then you think you're never going to be like, you think you look at these older comedians and you don't want to be like that guy. You know, he was super famous, right? But then you see now, like guys like you know that were up there and now they also struggling like that. And you entering sort of that era. And it's a challenging thing, you know, especially with fame. It's a very challenging thing to have fame and then not have fame.
Is it nice being famous though?
I don't really care for it much. I like people. I like telling a joke and it working. And then if I had my way, I'm a weird guy. It's a dichotomy, right? I want to go on stage and tell the joke and people. And then off stage, I don't want anybody to know me.
Okay.
That's weird. The introvert part.
But it has its perks, right?
Yeah. No. I mean, it's cool.
So I'll ask the closing question. I'll pitch it in. I'll frame it from the perspective of your kids, right? So if one of them comes to you and says, "Dad, I want to do medicine," like, do you have any advice for me? What would you say to somebody that tells
my daughter wants to.
Okay, and what do you say?
The 17-year-old.
I'll support her. She's 16.
Okay.
She wants to do medicine.
So you just say, go for it.
Yeah.
You're not much of an advice giver. Like you don't say, think about this or do that or.
Wait, sorry, is this the same daughter that you said would do well in the industry, but she's not interested?
Yeah, she'd do well she has a talent for acting. Definitely. She's very funny.
But she wants to do medicine.
She's mean funny though. Mean funny, but she's very funny.
I like that kind of humor,
yeah. And this for my 7-year-old was also like, he's got advanced shock humor for a 7-year-old. Like my daughter says, you mustn't do that. You're going to get a sin. And he's like, I don't get sins. I'm too young to get sins. Mom and dad get all my sins. Mom has got 100 sins. 101, 102, 103, 104. It's a 7-year-old. As a 7-year-old, have a joke like that. That's a bit advanced.
Must be genetics.
No, but I don't do jokes like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't do those jokes like that. That's an aggressive joke.
All right.
But it's funny. It's hilarious. He's like, that's his nature. It's also, I think, maybe a defense. He's the youngest. You know. So I just talk about the ideas of what you actually want to do. Like, what do you think you'll be most happy at? What's your aptitude? You know? And I think we need to think a lot about it, especially in the era of AI. What are you putting? I think understanding, I would say do whatever you want to as long as you also understand money and how it works, you know, because most of it, I mean, you can do anything if you manage your money well, you'll be okay.
Agreed.
Right? So, and I think a lot of, like me, I didn't particularly manage taxes and all that well. I don't have a good system, and it affected me for a while. And
that's a typical doctor, actually.
Yeah. And I'd actually just like my kids not to do that. I think kids just to manage their money well, whatever they do. But as long as they're enjoying what they do and it provides themselves with value and the world with value.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say, Yak?
No, I think thank you for being on the show. You proved me wrong. Comedians do have personalities off stage.
Off stage.
Yeah. And I think congratulations to you for everything that you've been doing. And your show has been quite phenomenal. I think my parents did attend it in Joburg a few months ago.
Okay.
And they absolutely love you. My dad wasn't in hospital. He would have been here sitting on the couch behind you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But thanks a lot. And yeah, good luck with what happens in Dubai.
Yeah, and thank you for having me, guys. And this is a good initiative. I hope it grows.
Yeah, I'm just sad you didn't have a dig at the dentist on the show. I mean, but anyway, you're a good guest. Good guest. Thanks so much.
Shot, bro.
All right,
Thank you. Thanks, dude.